Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the south-afrifur podcast. You're listening to myself, Ivic Wolf, and from the Western Cape, Scratch Wolf.
Yo.
And our guest this evening is Uldar Dragon from the mountains of the Eastern Cape.
Hello.
Awesome. So we're actually here and online, and everything is fine and everything is good. And Uldar Dragon was with us, and it seems like his connection is holding up rather well.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yep.
welcome to the south-afrifur podcast. South-afrifur.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that. Welcome to here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So Uldar is a musician here in South Africa that we recently. At least that I recently heard of via some of the other furs that had been hearing some of his music for a while now. And as far as I can remember, Uldar has been rather quiet about his music at times.
Yeah.
And we actually, when I was sort of like sent music last week while I was playing on the radio or playing around on the radio, I was like, okay, cool, I'm going to cue this next. And it was like an immediately ability to fall in love with music. He was actually really, really good. And Nanook also says in all caps, he is awesome at music. Ah. But yeah, so
thanks very much.
So you recently, or you're busy studying towards?
I'm actually. It's a bit of a mixture. Right now, I'm in Royal Academy studying, completing music composition, as part of just finishing up. Because I did originally study in Cape Town audiovisual engineering, and so right now I'm just online for the Royal Academy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you study at that audio engineering university there near CPUT college thing?
No, the other one.
Okay.
On the northern side.
Oh, okay.
There's two of them, both kind of. I think they're both called Cape Town. What? College of Audio Engineering. I think.
Yeah, that one.
Something like that. Mine was College of Audio Engineering.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I studied there. Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
All right. Black Hawk Bravura. Awesome. Okay, so you want to tell us a little bit about how you got into music? Obviously, having a little bit of a chat with you offline, you mentioned that it's a very long story, so why don't we just fall away with that?
Well, I can try. I honestly can't say when I started with music. Actually, I can. When I remember the first time I picked up an instrument was when I first arrived in high school. And it was sort of just, it was a guitar. It was like a 300 Rand horrible plastic blue thing. And that's kind of how, plastic blue classical guitar.
Okay.
It was a horrible little thing, but it was better than nothing. And that's obviously, we all start somewhere with whatever we want to get into. And then that was kind of became a method of, I can say expressing myself. It sounds a bit cheesy, but that's kind of what it was. And it just grew from there. My initial interest of actually recording myself only started at the end of high school. And when I started recording myself, this is the interesting bit, is when I didn't know anything about audio engineering and stuff. That's why I ended up studying it. But initially I started recording myself and putting myself online using the microphone or video camera. And that's kind of how my interest in sort of splicing audio, fixing it up and putting it online for people to hear started.
Okay.
So it's two different, it's the music and the audio engineering that kind of became one thing ultimately to where I am now. Yeah.
All right. And so obviously that leads towards what you're studying now and everything like that. And
Yes.
If you guys were listening last week Sunday, you'd have heard that like you're very, very, very professional at like your mixing and everything like that.
Thanks very much.
It's very, very well done.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Okay.
Carry on.
No, go for it.
Well, people say professional. I just I know it's kind of what I do isn't at a major scale. I kind of just record in my bedroom and I made an effort to try and make it sound good. So it actually means a lot that you guys think it sounds good. So thanks very much for that.
No worries. Like, I mean, again, like you're honestly, like when I first heard it, I was like, wow, this guy has an album out or something. That like it really is professionally mixed for a person playing in in their bedroom.
Yeah, thanks very much.
It weirdly enough, it reminds me of like a YouTube like guitarist that does like progressive metal guitaring. That
Yes.
generally, like half the time, like she has videos out there. And her guitar is one of the most beautiful things on earth, but she literally plays it in the bathroom.
Oh wait, I've seen that. Yes, I know what you're talking of.
Mm.
Yeah. Ah,
Yeah.
cool. Yes.
But isn't that where you get the
So
the best acoustics or something, or whatever?
So,
no go.
No, I'm asking, isn't that where you get the best acoustics, in the bathroom?
oh yeah. Well, I don't have towels in my bathroom, so it won't sound too good.
Ah, okay.
But that's generally the idea. Yeah.
Yeah. I always hear that as a thing from people who like record their own stuff like early on. It's like it always starts in the bathroom for some reason.
Yes, it's all the reverb. It all makes everything sound like airy and nice. You know.
Mm.
Yeah.
Just imagine you're like sitting on the toilet going like, okay, what's my next composition? I'm gonna be like, okay, okay, what now? Okay, wait, let's
Like
pedals. I need pedals, but there's nothing here.
Yeah, like pants around your ankle, like bang 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 bang, tuning the guitar. For some reason, I find that an incredibly funny image.
Like a tuner on the knee.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, and I've only heard 3 of your songs. I'm assuming that you've got a couple more of those out there, up on SoundCloud.
No. A lot of the stuff I've actually been creating for commercial use, for videos and stuff. Also, it's all instrumental.
Mm-hmm.
And these 3 songs are literally the only 3. You know, like I've thrown so much stuff away. Like you record a lot, but you at the end, as an artist, you get so fussy. You don't want anyone else to hear what you've created.
Mhm.
So I actually summed up the courage to kind of build this little demo with 3 songs, and then put it up. And then it's got a better response from the furry fandom than any other group I've sent it to, which is great. But yeah, so those are the only 3 I've kind of really been brave enough to show people.
All right. And what are your major influences musically?
There's one particular guy. Not a lot of people know him. His name's he calls himself the tallest man on earth.
The what?
And the tallest man on earth.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very strange. He's from Europe. I might be wrong. It should be Sweden. He's Swedish, and he's just a little folk. He's a guy, and in all his albums he's ever created, it's just him and his guitar. But he's so brilliant, you actually forget the fact that it's only a voice and a guitar. It feels like a whole band playing. He's so incredibly skilled with his guitar. He's the acoustic side of what I do is he's my inspiration to everything. You know, for this particular album or demo thing that I've been trying to create.
All right.
Yeah. So normally I shove it down people's throat to try and listen to him, but I won't do that now. You guys, if anyone's interested, they can listen. Yeah, he's kind of my favorite singer. Yeah.
And
all right.
what was I gonna say? And in the furry fandom, I mean, you say that's where you got your best response up until thus far. On that topic, like, how long have you been in the furry fandom?
Well, I can say I've been interested in the furry fandom since I started university, which was like, say, about 4 years ago. But the community, you guys, like the whole South African community, I've literally only joined about 2 months ago.
Wow.
So that's actually being able to talk to furries in this country is a completely new concept to me, but it's been very great so far.
Was it a case of not knowing that there were any furries in South Africa, or just,
I had absolutely no idea. I completely stumbled on it. On the South African forum, I had no idea it even existed, and then kind of went in there, and then it just grew from there. I had no idea. I never even considered to think about it, to look for it, until about 3 months ago, and then there it was.
That always seems to be the case, actually.
Yes, yeah.
For some reason, nobody bothers to think that South Africa could have, a furry community here, and then just there are 100 or so plus of us around town.
Yes, yeah.
That's an understatement, then. Still.
Yeah, fair point.
It's almost 600 people on the website itself, but hey.
Oh, right.
Huh. Not that all of them stay, and I'm assuming that at least 100 of them are people going fuck, what was my original account?
Yeah. Or just people that left, straight up and left because drama.
Mm-hmm. Well, all right. So, what are your intentions for moving forward and things like that? Are you going to focus more on producing music or actually creating your own music? A little bit of both.
Right now, because you always have to start out very small. So a bit of both is obviously ideal. And in this country, it's not very easy to get into, but it's I'm working on it. But ideally, I think I'd like to be an artist rather than a producer. It's something I enjoy more, and I enjoy the responses more than the business side of it, which is I think what a lot of people can say. They're more for playing and singing rather than producing an album.
Yeah, fair point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's actually pretty interesting. I mean, obviously, if you're a producer, I guess you could probably just do that in your spare time. But I know that, on YouTube, you can find so many good artists out there who just place their stuff on there, have Patreons. I know, for instance, Rob Scallon has recently gotten his own signature, 8-string and 6-string guitars. Just randomly sponsored by the company. Literally made a guitar for him, signature to him, for the work that he's been doing over the past 4 years
on YouTube.
So there's definitely a market for it.
Yes,
and,
yes.
I mean, one gains traction in one way or another. For instance, if it weren't for YouTube, I would never have heard of a song called "Passion Flower," for instance, by a guy called, hold on. No. Well, yeah, that too. Tobias Rauscher is out there as well, who does looping with his guitar, and it's some of the pedals that he uses are absolutely amazing. I should totally if you ever want to nerd out about acoustic guitar people that I like listening to, I'll definitely give you a whole bunch.
Yeah. No, I'm completely up for that. Definitely. Yeah.
Awesome.
That's perfect.
But yeah, I mean, so there is definitely a medium that you can go out there and do. Or speak to people about who's out there and what you can do to get out there as well, because everybody just loves listening to people screw. Yes. Oh yeah, the girl that I was talking about who sits in her bathroom a lot of the time. I think that's Sarah Longfield.
Yeah. Oh okay. That doesn't ring a bell, but I have seen her. I think I just stumbled on her, but yeah, I'll look into that again, definitely.
John Gum. Passion Flower. I'm going to pop that to you already because he's absolutely amazing. And he sings like a god.
Yeah, I mean, for all YouTube shortcomings, you have to give it the fact that it's enabled a lot of people to do a lot of get a lot of exposure and a lot of cool shit. I mean, people Smooth Groove, Mystery Guitar Man, all those people have. I mean, essentially launched careers off of the exposure they got on YouTube.
Yes.
Which is freaking amazing.
Yeah.
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 And I mean, if you constantly put out content, things like that, one of the more interesting things that you can obviously also do is just do nerdy commentary on how you should be mixing things, why you should be using a specific kind of setup, why this setup is better than this setup. And like,
Yeah.
because I mean, what's it? Rob Scallon does this quite often, where he does like behind the scenes stuff, and yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of potential out there, and I mean, like with the talent that you have, like that's definitely
Oh,
a good
gosh.
movement forward.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, I've only gotten like, well, where I am, it's kind of a closed deal. I first started out just doing it by myself, because you're
Mhm.
in a small community and you just do it for either the fun, self-enjoyment, or for the enjoyment of your friends and stuff. And the
Mhm.
idea of it actually growing is a lot more recent than what I actually like, what I personally realized. I haven't been shoving my stuff out for the world to hear as much as I
Mm.
thought I was doing. It was more just for self-enjoyment. But now I
Okay.
see if it's the ability to, or the chance to take it out there is just as fun. So I'll probably try and get more into it,
The
like
market is
what
there.
most
Right.
people do. So
Yeah, the
Mm.
market is there.
yes, yeah.
I'm just trying to remember who and when things were sent to me. So Tux asks about the meaning behind some of your songs. Would you be able to give us a rundown of maybe let's talk about maybe your favorite song out of the three that you've done so far, and maybe
Yes.
just give us a little bit of a rundown as to what that song might mean. And obviously, what we'll be doing is that directly after the podcast, I'll probably have like a 20-minute, 25-minute like either rant about it and go like foaming
Okay.
at the mouth, or or like yeah. But I'll definitely play that song first.
All right. Okay. Well, I have to say my favorite song is, and you can probably hear it in the song, is Blackbird,
Okay, yeah.
um, which is the first song that I considered recording.
Mhm.
And that song isn't when I write my songs, I don't try and attach it. Well, I attach it to a personal story, but I try and write it in a way that anyone can relate to it, because I
Mm.
find more value in being able to give it to someone and then they can attach their own story to it.
Yeah.
And Blackbird in particular is fiction. It's a story. It's not anything in particular. And if you
Mhm.
listen to it, it's just very simply a story about a guy who travels from the tip of the South African continent at the Cape all the way up to the mountains, and he has this
Mhm.
companion, a little black bird, with him. And in the beginning, Blackbird is kind of doesn't trust this blackbird, but it keeps following him all the way up as they climb higher and higher, and the altitude gets heavier. And by the end of it all, him and this blackbird become very good companions at the end of the journey, and friends. And that's quite simply what the story. It's a nice little fantasy story. That's what it
Mhm.
was. Yes. Yeah.
All right. Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Should I explain the others or try?
Yeah. If you really want to, go for it.
Well,
Like.
I mean, I might as well. Yeah. Um, so makeshift patterns. A lot of people on Telegram have asked, and I try and give the same response, but there's always, you reconsider what you've said, and it's generally the same story but said differently. So I
Mhm.
hope I don't. I hope I tell it the way I mean to. So makeshift patterns is actually, I'll try and not make it personal. Like, okay, well, my personal story with the song is about two relationships I've had,
Mhm.
and how they kind of went horribly wrong, but in a good way. As it's a bit, it's supposed to be tragic but happy. Um, you can hear in the song well, I try and portray that in the song, where after all the bad things that happen in the relationships, I still turn it into something good. And the term makeshift patterns literally means the story of my past kind of put up on display, and me being able to interpret it the way I want to, not the way it should be, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Like makeshift patterns. That's what the term means to me.
Okay.
Mhm.
And then that song I kind of wrote in a third person form, so it wasn't me and some people, it was a guy and two people, so that
Yeah.
whoever listens to it can kind of relate to it.
Mm. I
So
mean,
that's
and
the purpose.
Yeah, that generally connects itself very, very well to like poetry and things like that, in that the poet themselves tend to distance themselves from the topic that they're talking about as personalized as it could be, for
Yes.
instance. Um, and then they obviously like they write it and they're like, oh, I'm angry about something, or I'm upset, or this is something that's happening in the world today. And they're like, well, this sort of, either, affects me personally or doesn't affect me personally, and they write, and then it just happens to sort of put itself onto a page.
Yes.
And I mean, speaking about like your writing process, for instance, like,
Yeah.
do you first start with like scoring the guitar, and then the lyrics, or do you write the lyrics first
Uh,
and then score guitar with it?
Not really. I think normally what happens is they kind of have to work together.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not fond of forcing anything. So if
Mm-hmm.
I have a set of lyrics, generally I wouldn't consider putting lyrics with them, or vice versa, because you kind of now have to try and mold them together rather than have them grow together, as
Okay.
weird as that sounds, but that's kind of how it works. So I like to have the guitar and the pen and paper together at the same time when I write a song. That's generally
Okay.
works best for me. Yeah.
It sort of
All right.
comes more organically, like you
Yes,
said, one
yes, that's
grows with the
exactly
other.
it. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
and
like,
then,
yeah. Go.
well, obviously, because you hear after that, you kind of get your chord, your bass chord structures, and then your melody and stuff. From there on, you can go wild because you know it's going to work. You can add other instruments, piano, drums, and you know it's going to work. You're more comfortable with experimenting and trying to push the song to where what emotion you want it to portray. So
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of the process that I go for. Yeah, generally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Uh, do
Sorry
you
again.
do
Hold on.
you do you only play guitar, or are there other instruments that you like physically play or put with it, or is it all like
Um,
audio workstation kind of stuff?
well, I study because if you're doing instrument composition, you have to have an instrument, and I picked the guitar because it's the instrument I played the most in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And I can safely say I'm a competent guitarist, but I can't safely say I'm a competent at any other instruments, even though I can play them.
Hmm.
You don't want to say, "Oh, I'm a piano player," and the next thing you know, I can't. I can comfortably play the piano and the violin, but not at the same level as as guitar. So
Hmm.
All right.
yeah,
But I
and
mean,
then
yeah. Go.
carry on.
No, go for it.
Well, you said the stuff, the rest of the stuff, like the drums and stuff. I I picked up audio samples, so actually recorded drum kits, real recorded drum kits, and fixed them up
Okay.
and put them in the songs. Because if you're in if you have your own little budget studio, you can't necessarily bring in all the instruments you want.
Of
So
course.
you
Yeah.
kind of make do with what you have. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. As much as personally, I'm not a fan of um, audio, digital drumming and digital instruments. It has
Yeah.
its place, but personally, for my kind of music, I don't. If I ever had the chance to re-record the stuff in a real studio, I'd prefer completely authentic instruments for every part of the songs. That's kind
Okay.
of what I would run for. I do.
Yeah, but like you said,
Yeah.
Hmm.
small studio can't necessarily afford the entire in-house band.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
And I mean,
But it was lucky that.
being stuck in mountains is also a big thing.
Oh yes. Yeah. Yeah. That's a big thing. Also, the influence if you hear on the songs isn't too. I don't know. Like it doesn't. It's more you like Blackbird and stuff. It's stories. It's not about what modern pop music generally normally is nowadays.
Mm.
If that makes sense. So
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
it does.
So, what is your current setup like? Audio wise, guitar
Um.
wise, like that. What are you playing?
So I have two guitars. I just have an Ibanez G Art, just like a workhorse guitar, something that I've had, and it's been, as you must look at, it's a dreadful looking thing. It's been bashed up and thrown around and but it's a workhorse guitar, so it's the kind of thing that if you throw it off the stage, it's not going to break kind of guitar. And with that comes a Line 6 amp, which I know people cringe when they hear it, but if you're recording, it's great because they have this whole onboard computer and you can create any sound you want. And then when you reamp, you can literally do anything you want with it, which is great. Even the loop station is quite helpful.
Okay.
And then acoustic guitar, I have a Garrison, which is not a very well-known guitar, but I have that. And then for my recording, I actually have the Focusrite 2R2 set with a Samson condenser mic and a Focusrite condenser mic, and that's about it. It's not much else. Yeah,
it's pretty good. Sure. With your and back. With your like electric guitar, and I know that you've been playing mostly what seems to be more acoustic stuff. Like, would you ever consider ramping it up a bit, and like rock song type of thing, rock ballad possible?
Yeah. My musical history, like in Cape Town, and I was also in Grahamstown for a long while, was punk metal and metalcore. Sorry that people don't like metalcore. Yeah, I know. Sorry.
I'm sorry. I hear metalcore, and I'm just like core music.
I was young and stupid. That's why I did metalcore. No, but it was heavy music, and then when I moved up to the mountains where there was no one for that kind of influence, you kind of just completely calm down and do what you want to do. But if I ever went back to the city, I'd probably go back for something heavy, because it's enjoyable.
South Africa needs power metal bands. I'm just putting that out there.
If you say so.
Well, they do. I mean, Strident is like literally the only one that I know of. Okay. Big fan. Just putting that out there.
I don't know my power metal.
Hey?
I don't know my power metal bands. Sorry.
I'll pop you a link.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I mean, like, and when it does come to like playing violin and things like that, I know that if I'm not mistaken, this guy that I was talking about who has like the signature guitar that he bought recently, he tends to have he has an upright bass that he plays, for instance, and like he does a whole bunch of things. He plays the ukulele quite often for no apparent reason. And he plays things like "Raining Blood" by Slayer on a ukulele, for instance.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
It's very, very amazing.
Yeah. Should look into that.
Yeah.
Speaking of weird combinations of music, have you ever listened to overdriven metal music? It sounds like surf rock gone demonic. It sounds,
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like the Beach Boys just having a really, really fucking off day. I'll send you a link.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Okay, cool.
I need to go back into that kind of music again. I love doing that, like sort of like listening to people like do that quite often. But then again, I obviously also like it when they take the Beach Boys and they're like, okay, cool, we're gonna make a metal version of Surfin' USA, which Blind Guardian did once, and they also did Long Tall Sally, for instance, and Mr. Sandman, which was absolutely amazing.
Well,
that's been amazing.
Have you heard the essentially the soundtrack to what's the game? Wolfenstein: New Order. Essentially, that whole album takes like iconic, like what 50s and 60s and 70s songs, and gives it like a German Nazi propaganda spin to fit with the theme of the game.
That's so cool. Yeah.
It's really
good. I actually need to get it. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's like this sort of
cool.
This is one weird like German polka version of House of the Rising Sun.
Oh wow. Okay, I need to listen to this all of a sudden. but in that same sense, we should like listen to Devin Townsend for like 15 seconds. The man hates solos like really, really badly. And he goes off on a completely different level. Possibly one of the biggest vocal ranges that I've heard in a man. That sounds awkward.
In a human being.
But yeah, he's in a human being. That makes it worse. Now it's just gender neutral. But yeah, like he's absolutely amazing. Like one of his he's got like this one build up to a song called Vampira, and the one before that is called Vampolka. So he's got a polka version of like the song which leads into the other one. But yeah, like literal like absolute god when it comes to his own voice. Man has much control. So when it came to singing, actually, let's like moving away from the instruments themselves, like where do you sort of see yourself sort of improving towards? Whoops.
Did we drop him?
We dropped him.
Oops. Let's see if we can get him back.
Everybody's gone surfing.
Let's see if we can get him back. Hello.
Yay! He's back.
Yo, sweet.
Sorry about that.
That's
No
fine.
worries.
It happens.
All right.
Yes. Yeah.
Your question, Ivik, was?
Yes. Like where with your current like ability in singing, like what is let's maybe just talk about your bass ranges in vocals, and then where do you want to necessarily sort of
Yes.
work on? What kind of things do you want to work on when it comes to your vocal talent?
Well, I personally, I'm very insecure about my vocals, and I put a lot of work into it in the recordings.
Mm-hmm.
Generally, maybe if I perform live, you'd hear, I try and keep it authentic. That if I did ever by any chance perform it live, it would sound the same. But I'd still like it to sound pretty perfect.
Okay.
So I haven't got. I've for me personally, I can't. You're the wrong. You shouldn't be asking me that. Personally, I find my voice very mediocre. So I'm the wrong person
Come on,
to
you're
ask.
fine. You're absolutely great, dude.
But yeah, I think if I maybe just put it into a professional perspective, I'd be able to improve because it would be something I'd be doing for a living. So obviously, if I gave it my
Are we using him again?
Think so?
Yeah. Stay with us, dude. Yeah, the mountain, the connection in the mountains can be crappy. Can confirm.
Yes, and we did actually mention this in the update for Tumblr and so on and so forth, that like because of mountains, things happen.
Yeah.
So we can just
Yep.
and gone again.
There
Okay,
it
well
goes.
we'll continue talking.
Trying to get him back.
Yeah.
Where?
No, I guess we could probably just a little bit talk about like the fact that obviously your greatest critic is yourself.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, no artist is ever like immediately happy with what they've done.
Yep.
Welcome back.
We can continue.
hello. Okay.
Yeah, but as we were saying, Uldar, we were talking about the fact that obviously, like the biggest critic of your own of work is actually yourself, and that like you're obviously going to be unhappy with your own voice. But I mean, your guitaring, you're pretty good with. But the thing is that I personally think that your voice is absolutely perfect for the music that you're busy doing right now. So there's that.
Yeah. Thanks very much. Yeah. Yes. Thanks.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's knowing your range and playing to your strengths, essentially.
Yes. Yeah. That's what you. Yeah. It's what you have to go for. I mean, that's kind of what also makes everything or most artists original. Hopefully, you'll be able to your weaknesses and strengths are different to everyone else's. That's what makes you sound different.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, this makes you sound unique.
Yeah.
Yes.
Everybody wants to be unique.
No. Well, I mean,
All right.
even
So,
someone like
but
Macy Gray. I mean, her voice kind of sounds like
Mm.
crap, but she makes it work.
What? Her voice is amazing.
She has a very
I love Macy Gray.
no. I love her music, but she has a very like
Yes.
like a gruff voice.
Weird voice.
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
that's what I mean.
But I mean, if that's the case, like look at Eddie Vedder, for instance. Like nobody really should rate him as an actual singer, but holy crap, that guy can like get emotions in ways that only people who, have lost people would have emotion for.
Mm. Yeah.
You would,
That's
I
exactly
mean,
it. Yeah.
like his cover of Last Kiss, for instance, is an absolute gem. And I don't know, and it's I guess that raw feeling, like Macy Gray has a very raw voice, for instance.
Mm.
It doesn't sound like she has a lot of editing done on it, and I guess
Yes.
that's what makes her so like absolutely amazing. I have a
Yeah.
comment here from somebody who said that they thought that Macy was a man for the longest time.
That's what I
In as
mean.
much as I thought that Cher was a man the first time I heard her.
Yeah.
You are excused for that.
What, Cher?
Yeah.
Didn't think that I needed to be excused.
No, but like I'll let that slide because I can see that happening.
Yeah, I don't know. When I first saw Cher, secondary thought was, okay, well, maybe it is a man just in drag.
Yeah. Again,
Yeah.
I'll let that slide.
hmm So when it comes to mainstream musicians, like who, I guess, and I mean, I guess with pop music these days, like lyrical composition is something that people
Dead.
go, well, I'm gonna put that in the back burner, and possibly just like write a chorus, and possibly hope to write something around said chorus.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
It's the reason why I tend to listen to more like metal and rock and sometimes a little bit of punk here and there.
Yes.
And obviously, I'm getting into folk music a lot more religiously, because at least lyrical composition is something that you can appreciate, rather than,
Yes.
oh, I kissed a girl and I liked it.
Yes. Exactly.
Speaking of which, there's a heavy metal version of that song.
I heard it. Yeah.
It is
Yes.
absolutely amazing.
I like weird versions of like pop songs, like heavy metal versions or like I don't know, country versions or shit like that. I like it when people like put their own spin on stuff like that. Like there was this one mashup that I heard of Psychosocial by Korn and
Yeah. Justin Bieber.
No, not Korn.
Oh.
Slipknot. Psychosocial by Slipknot and
Slipknot, yes.
yeah, Justin Bieber's Baby, which was really funny. It just for some reason it fucking works. Oh fuck my life.
Oh, and he's gone again. Woo!
Like, for some reason that song just works.
Hmm.
It's funny as hell.
Yeah. No, but I mean, like, and that's the thing. Like, you wouldn't necessarily expect something as stupid as Baby to go as well with Psychosocial, for instance. And like, it's weird. Like, I like that version better than the original Psychosocial.
Yeah, because the chorus has like this weird haunting vibe to it.
Yeah. And it's mostly because, like, without the like overbearing guitaring, for instance, and I'm gonna say it is pretty much overbearing guitaring, that you can actively hear the lyrics, and hearing the lyrics makes it like, and it does make that song far more haunting than it actually is, because instead of like being just angry, you kind of sit there going like, I now know what you're angry about.
Yeah, kind of. It's like I understand your pain.
It's weird. Like
jaunty pop song.
Yeah. Recently, I've been listening to Arch Enemy quite often, and like lyrically, they're scary.
Is it?
Like, I generally read the lyrics while I'm listening to the music to try to hear whether I can hear the words, but like for instance, you have a female vocalist who literally puts a lot of male vocalists to shame
Really?
with what she has, for
Nice.
instance. And but like and it's something that I really do enjoy, that like when somebody like say when Pantera's lead singer was still alive, for instance, that it wouldn't just always be shouting. Like you had things like what was it, Suicide Note Part 1,
Mm-hmm.
which then led into Suicide Note Part 2, which was absolutely horrifying. But Suicide Note Part 1, you kind of sit there going like, holy crap, he sings like he's singing to a baby.
Wow.
He's
And
got a
we're-
very sultry,
And we're back.
and he's back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello. Sorry, we're just talking about Pantera.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sorry about that.
That's all good.
No worries.
Yeah, yeah, we know of.
Oh,
Yeah. So,
Where were we?
where were we?
What was the last thing we had were chatting about, Uldar, before you dropped out?
so, let me think. Oh yes,
yeah, Psychosocial
listening
Baby.
to. Oh no, I cut out by then. Sorry. It
Okay.
was listening to music instead of pop music.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Generally speaking. Yeah.
I mean, pop music's just like completely killed the idea of like putting any sort of thought into lyrics. It seems.
Mm.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's
Yeah. No, personally,
Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, you're.
No, I'm not a fan of pop music at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a few people aren't, but everyone has their own taste in music, which is fine. But yeah.
But sometimes you actually get a gem that comes out of that comes out of pop music. For instance, like if you listen to,
yes.
and I've mentioned this before on several occasions, but if you listen to Hanson's Mbop, for instance, and you actually listen to the dude, hear me out on this.
Tread very lightly, I
Mbop
think.
is it's about a group of people who are saying that life is short, and we're all going to die eventually, and sometimes you're going to have people around, but they're going to betray you. Okay, fine. If you don't believe me, you don't believe me. That's fine. Just give me a second then. Pop lyrics.
No, I'll like read it in my spare time. It's just like, yeah,
You have so many relationships in this life, only one or two will last. You go through all the pain and strife, then you turn your back and they're gone so fast. So hold on to the ones who really care. In the end, they'll be the only ones there. And when you get old and start losing your hair, tell me who will still care. Come on!
Yeah, okay, fine. I'll give you. I'll
for
give you
a bunch
Mbop.
of 12-year-olds, for God's sakes. And he's gone again.
Yep. Yeah, yeah, I suppose, but I mean, ugh, I just do not like that song. Like, it's just like way too like saccharine bullshit.
And that's the reason why there needs to be a metal version of it.
Yeah, sans the like weirdly like poppy chorus.
I can just imagine what this is going to sound like. No, you keep the chorus there, and you have a guy who growls it.
Yeah, no.
Like literally, like growls the living crap out of it.
Yeah, no. I'd rather not like metal music. Yeah, I'm already in a very contentious relationship with metal music, so
I'm gonna get Arch Enemy's lead singer to do it.
by all means, tell Strident to do a cover. They'll listen to you.
Yes. Oh, nothing better than symphonic metal along with Mbop, and you're just sitting there going like, what the fuck did I just do?
Yeah,
What have I created?
What have I spawned?
This is Satan.
This
saccharine music.
This is hell. This is indeed hell.
Hello again.
Hello.
This is indeed.
So sorry.
No worries.
No, it's fine. Like I said, we
Very
know what
sorry.
we've made the proper arrangements.
Yeah. Yeah. So you heard my little rant about Mbop then. Did you?
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. But yeah, like, so some pop music can be relatively, like, deep without necessarily meaning to be deep, especially when it
Yes.
comes to a chorus that is literally just that.
Yes.
Yeah, the
Look,
chorus.
at
that's
least
just,
it's
like,
not
fucking-
Anaconda.
Yeah, well, fuck my life, dude. I mean, you know how like creatively bankrupt some of these people are.
Yes. Yeah.
And this is where the difference comes in with, like, yeah, no, these people are wonderfully professional and everything like that, because they have like a massive team of people with them. But
Yes.
one of the most interesting things is, I think it was on a Watch Mojo that I was watching at some point. It was talking about like terrible lyrics in songs, and at one point they were mentioning what's her name?
What, Nicki Minaj?
Nicki Minaj, yeah. Like, so Nicki Minaj literally just churns out music like on a daily basis, apparently.
Mhm.
But for instance, like some of her songs seem to be what she would be doing as a warm-up,
Mhm.
and yet that still makes it onto the album, and then also then shoots to #1. And you kind of sit there going like, what the
Yeah.
fuck happened? What happened to music?
Yeah.
What happened with music
I mean,
is
like,
it
you
became
have
an
people like
industry.
Bob Dylan. Yeah, but you have people like Bob Dylan out there. Everybody loves Bob Dylan.
He won a fucking Nobel
Um,
Prize for literature this year.
Exactly. Like, and yet, and nobody seems to be able to write anymore. What happened there? Come on.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's one of the reasons why, I guess, to a large extent, why I love your music is specifically because it's self-written. It has that air of, and it's because, and the way that you sort of talk about the recordings as well. It's like you can hear that it's a song that you really want to put effort into, for instance, because it means something
Yeah.
far more than just, you know, yeah, I don't even want to talk about half of the freaking pop song.
Yeah, I mean, there's still some
Well,
love in the
Blurred
medium.
Lines.
You know, yeah, you can bring that to like what music was like. You say you like your punk music and stuff. Say now a band like Black Flag, for instance, like after the massive wars, what they had was almost nothing, but they did their absolute best to create what they could, and that's what brought the emotion forward more so than what you can nowadays. Where nowadays you can get hold of any gear or equipment or resources you want and have no real effort or
Ugh. Stay with us. Nope.
Give it CPR. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Fuck.
Yeah. No, we're gonna have to I have to get him back. How bad
But
are
yeah, I
you?
mean, and as Nanuk is saying here on the chat, you know, a lot of the pop musicians today are what one could call Madonna clones. Oh, there he goes. And but there are other pop artists that make music for themselves and generally come out better than it should be recognized. Am I reading this wrong?
Maybe.
But there are other pop artists that make music for themselves, and generally come out better than it should be recognized.
Then maybe replace Dan with then.
Mhm.
Then it should be recognized. Yo. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry,
And,
Uldar, you were
yeah.
saying it's like you can find some gear really easily and whatnot.
Oh, yes. Sorry. No, I was just trying to say that nowadays it's easier to get hold of the resources that you want, and then your effort disappears. It's kind of too easy to make music, and then you just make whatever. You know, the effort and the emotion doesn't exist anymore. That's generally what I was trying to put forward.
Yeah. No, that's sort of why I have incredible respect for people who still play in orchestras. You can't fake that shit.
No, but you can use beta
Yeah.
blockers.
Yeah, well, you can. You still have to put in the effort. You can't just like pop a pill, and then suddenly you're a freaking like a maestro.
Doge. Doge. Coffee,
Dude,
please.
dude,
Coffee.
tell your PA to do it off
What?
hours. Come on,
No, but what?
do it off the air. Just wait.
Oh, yes. I could have probably pressed mute there.
Yeah, you could have.
Huh. Who else wants coffee?
Me.
Eh. It is okay. Sorry, I'm just gonna. I want to segue just for 15 seconds. It is so hot up here.
Yeah.
I am boiling in my room.
Do yourself a favor. Just hit up a macro and get yourself like one of those industrial fans. It's like less than $500 if you buy the right one.
Nope. What?
Yeah, he dropped out.
Yeah, Scratch. You also like.
Oh, sorry.
a
All
little
I'm
bit
all
there
I'm saying
as
is like just drop out, go over to macro and get yourself like one of those big ass industrial fans.
well. Ooh, juice. Yes. Yeah. No. But yeah, you're absolutely right. I know that Badge has told me to drink wine. I'm for drinking right now. Holy crap.
How about you stop drinking?
What? You think you thought I stopped drinking?
I said, how about you stop drinking instead?
No. Lifeblood.
No, no.
Hey, he's back.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes. So, like, and when you put music together, it's about the experience of music, yeah? No?
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, just catching up with signal here. Sorry.
Let's just repeat that, Ivik, for him.
Oh, I said, when you create music, it's about creating the sort of feeling, the vibe, the
Yes.
what is being told to you. Music is as much a story as a person who writes creates a story.
Yes. Yes.
And
Yeah.
I mean, it's a 5 to 10 minute journey, for instance.
Yes. Yeah. Also, because now, personally, like you find in music that it's not just about the lyrics as much as it is the sound. That's the whole point of the sound, is that you're going to use your sound to bring forward an emotion. So you want to try and the process of creating the song, you actually want to try and let the people hear what's the qualities in your voice that will bring forward the emotion that you want them to hear. So that's the yeah. As opposed to just that's kind of also what makes music music lyrics different to poetry lyrics. Poetry lyrics can be a lot more in depth, whereas music it can be quite simple, but then the whole tone and the instruments can bring a lot more forward. You know.
Yeah. There's that. Yeah, there's that extra bit of medium that goes with it.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
I completely understand what you mean.
But so just as a point, like, and one of it was very, very fortunate that we actually sort of got you onto the podcast and things like that, because furry.fm is beginning to do a thing where we actually do interviews with musicians, considering that we are, or that furry.fm is a radio station first.
Yes. Yeah.
And I mean, like, we want to find more furry musicians out there, and at the end of the day, maybe even connect people with other furry musicians.
Yes.
I mean, for instance, if you go onto Fur Affinity, there is a furry musicians like group that you can join. Not
yes.
sure if you were aware of that.
You know, still, yeah, I'm aware of it. It's just not something I explored.
Yeah, and I mean, like, back in the 90s, for instance, one of our prolific musicians out there, which is Matthew Ebel, who I only heard about when I spoke to Tempo about 3 weeks ago. Scratch, you also heard about him, and like, he's been doing music since the 1990s, and like, I don't know, he plays at prisons, for instance, and it's really, really interesting, some of the music that he's played. I know that Doge and I were listening to some of his live music, and Like the amount of like emotion, and he just plays on a keyboard. Like he doesn't have, yeah. He scares me sometimes.
How?
Dude, seriously, like if a person, it's one of those things that if a person like creates content that seems to always feel depressing, you kind of wonder about whether they're depressed.
Yeah. Well, the opposite's kind of true as well if you think about it.
Mm. Mm. Like Hansen.
No, I mean like the opposite. Like people who always want to make people happy also tend to be the people who are also depressed a lot of the time. That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there was they did like a 20-year reunion or something like that at one point, Hansen, oddly enough. And they did a cover of The House of the Rising Sun.
Mm.
Oh.
Really?
Oh.
Really?
Oh.
Really now?
Okay.
Are you done? Are you done?
Maybe.
We have a show to do.
What? Music is my passion sometimes. I don't play. I play a little, but like
What happened to the guitar I got you?
well, the guitar is still here. It's gathering dust.
Yeah. Tell me about
Scratch
it.
like my yeah.
Yeah.
My day generally just it starts at 5 in the morning.
Mhm.
I get home at 6. I sit and recover for an hour, and suddenly it's 7:30.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my god, I can't do anything with my day anymore.
You and me both.
League of Legends.
Yeah, I guess you and me both. Like,
Yeah.
my tablet's also gathering dust next to me. I should really get back to that stuff.
Yeah.
So
Huh.
maybe I can start sketching on the bus.
Yeah, if you start sketching, I'll start playing guitar again.
Alright.
Oh, there we go.
Good deal. Good deal.
And yeah, the Squire Strat. It's such a cute little guitar, though. I keep forgetting about what I named it.
What? The Squire that I got you. Oh, we got you, sorry.
Yeah, I hadn't.
I have no idea what.
I don't know. I think I called it Miss Cherry.
I have no
Cherry.
idea. You never.
Was it red?
Yeah, like a sort of yeah, maroon. Not really maroon, I suppose. Like.
Yes.
No, it's a cherry red.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, cherry red wood body.
Ah.
0 pickups. If I want to hear like the bottom strings, I have to put the guitar up on really, really loud, and only then, and then distortion, because.
Jeez.
Yeah. And like literally, all I can do is I can't even do chord progressions. I just like faff about in like blues scales. That's it.
Well, yeah. The scales are the best place to start, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, how about that? Actually, let's talk about what if there were musicians out there who were listening to the podcast right now, what would you tell them to do, like to begin to improve their own skills?
It's actually like in playing instruments.
Yeah. Or anything, musicians, artists, anybody who sings, anybody who writes, whatever. Like you pretty much have the full package at this point.
For me, because I recently just picked up playing guitar as or being taught to play guitar, because I've actually taught myself to play most instruments most of my life, until the point now where I have to actually get this qualification of mine, and you end up relearning. You actually have to unlearn habits that you pick up. So if anything, when you learn something, just learn it the right way the first time, so that you don't spend most of your time trying to freaking get all these horrible habits out of your muscle memory and your mind, because it's So when you start something, you always have to try. You're going to regret it in the end, taking shortcuts. So from the start, just try and do it properly the first time. Otherwise, it just bites you in the long run.
Yeah, first principles.
That's kind of what's happening. Yeah.
I don't mind getting bitten in the long run.
Stop it.
Anyway. Me and my guitar are gonna get intimate. Do it right.
You done?
I'm tired. Okay, just leave me alone.
All right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, obviously, you're going to get your qualification. You're beginning to understand, I guess, your guitar a lot more and a lot better, and what you
Yes.
can do with it. If you could like sort of pick up a specific style, for instance, with your guitar, what kind of
Yes.
styles would you like to go for?
Well, I kind of want to go into the styles of my favorite guitarists. And since it's what I'm particularly studying is the electric guitar, I'm in the contemporary field of music,
Yeah.
guitar-wise. Obviously, when you're studying, you have to study classical music. There's
Yeah.
no way around that. But for the guitar, ideally, I'd probably go for Tom Morello
Oh,
kind of music, yeah, for the electric guitar. Yeah.
so extremely progressive.
Yeah, and experimental,
Yeah.
because he goes crazy, making helicopter sounds and on like that. So that's kind
Mm.
of it's
Well,
it's great.
I mean, there's obviously also Joe Satriani and Steve Vai, who are like
Yes,
virtuoso guitarists out there.
yes.
Jeez, they're insane though.
I'm not a fan of Steve Vai.
He's a bit conceited. I must say.
Yeah, it's not nice to say this, but personally, his style of music is too airy and delicate for my personal tastes. I kind of like the Rage Against the Machine,
Grungier kind of
Audio
stuff.
Slave, yeah, kind of music.
Hmm.
Or mixture between those two. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. But yeah, like again, like I said, like if you want to talk about guitarists, I'll pop a couple your way to see whether you like the way that they play or not.
Yes, no, definitely. Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Who was that other guy you
Uh,
liked so much? Yngwie Malmsteen or something like that?
oh, Yngwie Malmsteen. Look, he's good, but
But okay.
like Yngwie Malmsteen he's an amazing guitarist. He plays like he generally does like a whole bunch of classical runs. And very very well. He's very very tight when he comes to playing that kind of stuff. But it's literally, and it's the reason why I point towards Devin Townsend more often, is that like it's not terrifyingly complex because it's just classical runs, just played at incredibly fast speeds. Um, like so, I mean, and Ingrid Malmsteen was that. Look, granted, this was back when I was like 18, 16, 16 to 18, going like, oh my God, the faster you can play it, the better. It doesn't necessarily mean anything. That means absolutely nothing in guitaring.
Yeah.
For instance,
Yeah.
like if you have complex chord progressions and possibly like, for instance, can write a metal song in chromatic, for instance, then like you are literally like 10 times better than most guitarists to begin with. For instance, like you look at the great classical, metal guitarists like or like bands out there like Metallica, for instance. Uh, a lot of what they're playing is terrifyingly basic, and they really haven't changed at all. And yet you look at another band like
Yes.
Iron Maiden, and everything is complex. Scratch, I tried to. You remember
Yes.
that
Yeah.
book? Do you remember that book that my sister gave me for my birthday? The like one with the Iron Maiden, like tabs in it.
Not quite, but continue.
Yeah, I still don't know. I sit there and I put it on like what's the I just firstly I don't go fast enough. Secondly, I've got no idea. I put everything on like 40% tempo, just like okay, 1, 2, 3. What the fuck is that? 4, 5. I have no idea.
Well,
Yeah,
have you?
but
Uh, is this on like? Is this an actual book, or was there software involved, or
yeah.
what do you mean?
Well, I mean, there's that, and then there's the software that I would use. What was that called again?
Guitar Pro.
Guitar Pro,
Yeah.
which has nothing
yes,
but
yeah.
tabs.
Have you tried what's that thing called? Rocksmith.
Uh,
Okay.
I have mixed feelings about Rocksmith.
Alright.
Like, I would literally just go into, what do you call it? What's it? Free play mode, and just like faff about while soloing. Because the tempo follows your solo, which is amazing. That's pretty much the best thing that Rocksmith is for. Like,
Yeah,
I remember
like
what's
adjusts
it?
its
Bragg
face to
came over. Hmm?
yeah, it adjusts its face to fit your like level of play.
Yeah. Look, it's great for beginners, but like as soon as you've stopped being a beginner, you're just like it kind of becomes boring.
Okay.
Yeah, I can play all the covers in the world that I have to buy separately.
Yeah. Yeah, their monetization model's a little bit like more geared toward being, a game than a tool.
Yeah, and rich.
Well,
Don't forget rich.
I did call it a monetization model, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah. And have you ever seen Rocksmith, Uldar?
No, yeah, I've heard of it, but those kind of things I've never looked. Not, no, not at all.
Nanook asks if you could sing
Sorry.
for us.
What?
Yes.
No way. No. That's crazy. I don't have my guitar nearby, so that can't happen. Sorry. I need an instrument with my voice.
what?
Otherwise,
No,
it sounds terrible.
That's crazy. You crazy.
And then you also need like 35 minutes of like warm-up time.
Yeah.
Oh yes, yeah.
Come in all caps.
No. Just let's not put him on the spot. I'm not one for doing that kind of stuff, honestly.
Yeah.
Like unless you
Oh.
really
Yeah,
feel like
no,
doing
sorry. I'm a little bit.
it. Yeah.
No, well,
Probably lost him again.
you guys scared him off.
God damn you people.
No.
Oh, there he is. Okay.
I thought we lost you again.
Sorry. No, the signal's flickering a bit, but I'm still around. Yeah.
Badge says drum on table and belt it out.
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
you
you
can always
guys
do-
can't put me
You can do a rap.
No man.
a rap.
Even worse.
Word.
What? Oh.
Please never say that again, Ivy. Never say
I
like
need
that
to.
again.
I'm a freaking English lecturer. Word is a word that I need a word.
Yeah, well,
Word.
never say word like that
Oh,
again, or with that connotation.
Yeah.
Unless you're making a
What are your
Microsoft Office
opinions
joke.
What are your opinions on Tool, for instance?
Tool.
Yeah.
What, the band?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't listen to them often, but when it's played, I really can't complain. It's kind of like it's not my personal taste in music, but I like it's experimental and different, and that's kind of what I primarily would want to go for in music. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. When it comes to your lyrics, I know that we've sort of already spoken about like 3 of your songs or 2 of your songs now.
Yes.
Where do you generally draw inspiration from?
Most of the inspiration. I mean, I know you guys haven't heard any of the other songs I attempt to record or write. A lot of it is a lot more fictional. I don't know what example of Mice and Men. They have kind of folk stories about where they come from. It's kind of that's I'm not the kind of person who wants to write about this one person I've loved but I've lost, or it's not generally my style, even though the two songs that I've gone for are generally that topic. But I like to tell stories like fiction or fairy tale stories in my music most of the time, even though sometimes personal experiences can reflect in it, because that's what can inspire fiction stories to begin with. Yeah.
It's actually kind of weird. Like I went in the complete opposite direction with my poetry, in that a lot of my poetry, shitty poetry, all the way back in like grade 8, was about fanciful creatures and things like that. And it's one of the weirder things is that my favorite poem still comes from like 2003. But like but the thing is that I know, for instance, that if I have to look at that poem again and I have to look at it structurally, I kind of sit there going like, what the fuck was I thinking? What am I doing? Why did I do this? I need to put this away. I need to burn it somewhere. But it's on the internet forever.
Yeah, well, we all need to start somewhere, dude. I mean, it's just, a lot of the artists that we all like sort of admire and whatnot. We just have the benefit of seeing them now in their good stages. That I promise you, everyone went through a shitty phase. They just didn't make it like public. And if they did, it's like that's part of the visible progression of their style and their skill. So everyone starts
unless
somewhere.
you're talking about Metallica.
No, but
because Metallica literally started backsliding since 1992.
I thought you said Death Magnetic was an okay album.
It was an okay album, but that's the thing. It was an okay album. It was pretty much what we would have expected in 1994. But at the end of the day, it wasn't. And then freaking Saint Anger came out.
No, Saint Anger was before Death Magnetic.
Yes. And their newest album's coming out as well, and it's just it's
not expecting yeah.
Like when Iron Maiden brings out a new album, you gotta sit there going like, oh, I'm gonna sit up and listen. Like this is awesome, because they're always awesome. And Metallica is just like, oh, cool. We are the benchmark for mediocrity.
Wow.
What we have been able to do is we've been able to play our guitars slightly faster. Yeah.
And sue a bunch of people because of Napster.
Yeah.
What a debacle that was.
So, if you were to become, mildly famous, for instance, and I know that the South African market is about as saturated as, the beginning, the beginning stages of both The Voice and Idols.
Yes.
Because there are a lot of good singers out there, but if you were able to record all of your own music, and you became famous and things like that, what would you do? Where would you move from there?
I never thought about it. I've never wanted to have music, and I don't want to go forward in music in the fame, in the sense of like all these major bands that everyone in the world has heard. I kind of just want to go as far as what keeps it genuine for me personally. So I'll go as far as what works or what keeps me me and my music and what I want to do, And I say that now. Hopefully, I'll keep with that idea as I move forward.
Until you sell out.
Well,
What, like Evil's Fantastic style?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Like it's weird. Like the very first time that that you note that people have begun to sell out, you what's the word? You hear that there's like a radio. There's a pause at the end of the thing that's around about 20 seconds long, at the end of the song, where the person who is then playing your song on the radio could then easily go in and go da 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 da, and next up is da 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 da. Play song. Overlay.
Yeah, I suppose. Well, in EDM that comes standard because it just helps to like queue up the next track.
Don't.
But that's
EDM.
EDM, yeah. I know you guys aren't fond of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. Okay, I know.
Yay, this has lyrical. No, it doesn't.
Yeah. No, don't worry. I've heard all the jokes. Like, how dare you think your concert, just press play and walk away. Whatever.
Look, I won't necessarily say that there isn't a talent in playing like that kind of music, and I'm sure that there is a lot of it, but it's when it's just cover after cover after cover with, fucking, you all night long comes on, and then they just literally ruin everything.
Yeah. Well, there's a difference between a DJ and like an actual like music producer, obviously, like someone who
They
makes
still
their own
release
shit.
albums.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, those. Yeah. Well, I'm not a fan of those. So.
Mm,
Yeah. Whatever. Yeah. Let's move on to that
Yeah.
topic. We've had this discussion.
I've argued this to death.
Yeah. And I've counter argued it to death, and I don't want to rehash the argument.
Yeah.
Where were we?
So,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I mean, obviously, so you'll stick to your roots.
Try to, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're obviously looking at like becoming. Now, I mean, like with Steve Vai, for instance, you wouldn't necessarily call him like a progressive a guitarist. You call him virtuoso.
Yes. Yeah.
And I mean, Steve Vai has that way of like playing a guitar that makes you feel like you're the worst thing on earth. And when he starts, when he starts soloing, you kind of sit there going like, okay, cool. I've noticed that you play with your mouth as well.
Yeah. It's I'm just gonna hang up everything I know. It's like I'm gonna stop here and like never pick up a guitar again.
Yeah. Like he pops out with a 3-necked guitar that's literally his signature, and you kind of sit there going like, wow, cool. You could literally create an orchestra on that thing. Wonderful. You have more pedals than a tank.
Yeah. It's like your setup looks like essentially like something from space. Yeah.
Yeah.
But those kind of people, I mean, as we said, they practiced and it took forever to get where they are. So at least
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
just keep at it. I mean, yeah. And again, like don't compare yourself to like the people who can do like crazy shit. Like, like if you're gonna start gymnastics, don't look at like Damian Walters and expect to be that in a year or two.
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah.
Both of you guys are breaking up a little bit.
Oh, sorry, my bad. I think it might be my connection.
But it's cool. I think I got the gist of it.
Yeah. Like just like be kind to yourself when you are starting something like this. I mean, don't expect crazy results after like a week or so. Just be realistic. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is someone outside?
Sounds a little bit windy.
Outside.
Yeah.
No. Wait. You know what? Hang on. Is that better?
Yes. You have a fan on.
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry.
That's
I didn't
fine.
notice that.
It's fine. It happens. I'm quite surprised you don't have one on, Ivik.
I don't know where to plug it in anymore.
What, are you like scared that the house might trip or something?
Yeah, no. Well, you should. Again, we've got 2 computers in a room. So that's like picked up all of the plug space there. Where I used to plug it in is now being like held by I don't even know what to call this thing. It's like a Wi-Fi pickup.
Oh, okay.
And if
the
I
range
plug
extender.
anything else in there, I just go, yeah. If I plug anything else in there, it's just gonna go.
Yeah.
Death.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Um, hmm.
Oh, it's almost.
Is there anything that like yeah
No, go
yeah
ahead.
it's
Go
almost
ahead.
time, believe it
Yeah.
or not.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you'd like to sort of say to anybody listening on the podcast and the on furry.fm in respect to like both your music and anything like that? Are you going to start putting your music up on somewhere, maybe SoundCloud or like
Um,
any, yeah?
yeah, I think I would soon enough. I think I'd first like to try and build at least something decent, rather than just 3 songs. You build something quite well-rounded and presentable,
Well, I mean
and then
that's
see
three
how it
songs
goes
is
from
only
there.
an EP album.
Yes, yeah, yeah. But I'd like something, if I'm doing it myself, I'd like to try and go all the way with it, see how
Hmm.
far I can go.
Yeah.
Because the journey in itself is quite enjoyable so far, and it's brought quite a lot of interesting events my way, so I can't complain. I think I'll just carry on a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nanook once again reiterates that your stuff is fantastic.
Oh, thanks very much.
Hmm. Any yeah.
Thank you.
And
Any
Yeah.
are there any like bigger plans like for let's say the next year or so? Maybe I don't know, CDs or something, or is it all just like still
Uh,
finding your feet kind of stuff?
it's definitely still, I've honestly never thought that far. And until recently, ideally, I'd be, I'm in the stage where I'd move to the city and then see how it goes from there,
Mm-hmm.
because you can't do as much up here in the mountains where there is no one, no one in that line of work,
Mm-hmm.
producers or recording studios or whatever,
Yeah.
so see how it goes from there. Yeah.
yeah.
Can I take a quick stab at trying to figure out where you live?
Hmm.
It's in the Eastern Cape, right?
What?
It's in the Eastern Cape, right?
Eastern Cape, yes. So if you look at the Lesotho, the outline of Lesotho,
Is it? Is it in?
literally on the southern tip.
Are you living on? Or do you live in Hogsback or nearby?
No, no, Hogsback is uh, far away.
Okay.
No, well, actually, oh, I've never been to Hogsback. It's too far away to go.
It's pretty
No,
though.
like there is nothing. Yeah, well, where I live, there's nothing there. I'm literally, when I say I'm on the border of Lesotho, I mean I can climb up the mountain where I live, and I'm on the border of Lesotho.
Oof.
That's
Okay.
where I live. So it's in the middle of nowhere. Yeah.
Nice.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think since it's
Wow.
9:30, I think it's time that we should wrap this up, right, Ivik?
Okay.
All right. Just as a final question, like the idea of collaboration, would you ever actually consider collaborating with other furries?
Oh, I would love it. Really, I would. It's I've had the opportunity to collaborate with lots of musicians, and I think
Hmm.
personally now at this stage that I've met so many awesome people in this fandom. Like really,
Hmm.
there's some people here, and they know exactly who they are. when I said I, I'd love to meet furs and collaborate with them. I think it would be a great opportunity, and
Look, you're more than welcome to do a call out if you want to.
well, there's quite a few names, and yeah.
We have time.
Well, there's um, the I mean the main two would be in Badge Cat. Um, music-wise, just like inspiration-wise and helpful, just being very very helpful. Other than that, there's a lot of foes I've met who say they'd love to try. Oh, like this one plays this instrument, and I'd love to be able to do that. Like if I moved to the city, that would be an awesome weekend. Personally, I think is to see what you can try and collaborate with.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah,
Alright, sweet.
All right.
yeah.
Huh. Okay. Well, that means that I can probably do greetings. From furry.fm side, the people who are on the chat here, there's Wolful, there's Blackhawk2306, there's Foxnote, there's people from South Africa, that's Badge is listening on this side. And then people from Kuin, Zurich, Beirut, Gaggenau, Fitschonheim. I'm probably just raping the German language, and I'm terribly
butchering
sorry.
it. Absolutely butchering it.
Butchering it terribly. Nanook, Tox, and Arashi on First Stream side. I know who else was talking on here. Billy Bob Neon, Dalek, Kletu, possibly more, but it's got cut off. Billy Bob Thornton. Tempest was here. And yeah, I think that's all the people that I've got names for. I'm pretty sure that there are more people out there. And we'd like to thank you guys for having listened to the podcast.
Mhm.
And obviously just keep an ear out for the music that will be played afterwards. I'm obviously going to do the radio show afterwards. And I think what we're going to be doing is that we're going to start off with our normal sort of like intro song. And then we're going to be playing like all three the songs that we have from Uldar. As our beginning,
yeah.
I'll possibly like pop them around somewhere in the middle again, you know, like normal radios do. But yeah, so we're definitely going to be doing a little bit of showcasing and things like that for you.
Thanks.
No, thank you for creating the music.
Thanks.
Yeah. But so yeah, is there anything that you'd like to say to the people out there who've been listening?
No, well, I mean, the response, like just from that Sunday of you guys airing it, I got wonderful responses. So thanks very very much. I mean, it's actually it's inspiring personally. Because I've never actually got a personal, like you know, starting out. It's not often you get responses like that. So I really really appreciate them.
Yeah.
And they mean a lot. So thanks very much.
Well, we personally hope that you grow from strength to strength from here, and I think that it's awesome that you're already like well set on your way to, I guess like in your own sort of like field, to be able to both production if you had to, and I mean again like moving to the city is probably the better idea that you could have, maybe like connecting yourself with some sort of studio somewhere, but then again I mean like, it's music business and it is South Africa and. Cloudy Motswaneng owns the SABC
For now.
Yeah.
But yeah, like we're very very happy to have you on here for starters, and
thank you very
we
much.
really hope that you do, like you create best things, you know.
Yeah, thanks. That means a lot. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
All right, I think that's me. Scratch, do you want to say something?
No, I'm good. I mean, I think we've covered what needs to be covered. Yeah, just thanks again for being on. This was really, really inspiring.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Thank you.
Cool. Well, then we'll see you guys next week, everybody. Have a good evening.
Yes.
Enjoy the music.
Yes.
Cheerio,
Thanks
guys.
for having me. Enjoy evening.
Yeah. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Cheers.